Good morning, everyone. It is 9:01, and I will call this Regional Transportation Commission meeting to order. We'll start with the roll call. Madam Clerk.
Good morning. Sajid Solaria.
Here.
Ed Lawson.
Here.
Devin Reese.
Here.
Alexis Hill.
Here.
Bill Thomas.
Here.
Marluz Garcia.
Here.
Adam Spear.
Here.
And thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. And if Councilman Reese could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in honoring our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, I'd like to take public comment now.
Okay, we'll start with Carlos Elizondo Reina.
Push the button. There you go. It's on. Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I got it. Yes, good morning. My name is Carlos Elizondo Reina. And the reason I'm here is for, to talk about the Route 18 and Route 12, on 2nd Street, Walmart, going to 4th Street Station. There's times that both of the buses come at the same time, one after the other. And the toll just keeps going, don't stop, and there's a stop for it, and the Route 18 for most of the times is super packed, especially, with people, shopping at Walmart, they come with grocery bags, grocery carts, you name it, it's super crowded, and about Route 12, it doesn't stop. It must, it's a must, it has to stop, I just want to mention identities. I talked to Keolis, and Keolis says that this RTC protocol, and they was going to talk to RTC, and I did mention it to Jim Gee, and he said that it's not safe, for the two buses to stop there. Well, in the first place, you should find when you're going to build the bus stop, you have to make sure it says stop. That's it.
Thank you, sir. And we will absolutely look into those comments. We appreciate it.
Okay, next up we have Pamela Baker. Here. You can just come up to the.
Hello, everybody. Most of you I already know.
Welcome.
Thank you. Greetings. My name is Pamela Baker, United States Air Force, Vietnam War veteran, 100% total and military, service-connected disabled, now age 72. What is a veteran? A veteran who is someone upon their enlistment or commission into the United States Armed Forces or U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corps wrote a blank check to the USA for up to and including their life to support and defend the Constitution. That is a sacrifice. Why? Because the most expensive thing everyone owns is your freedom, and freedom isn't free. We veterans are an extraordinarily rare 6% of the population who serve for 100% of the population. We serve for those who couldn't and those who wouldn't. I'm here today because I want to express my appreciation that RTC has done for me as a disabled veteran, as a senior, and as a disabled person. It takes a community to keep a veteran alive, and RTC is part of that community. I appreciate that RTC provides free rides every Veterans Day, 11 November. I would like to see every RTC bus have a large sign inside and outside their buses this day with "Like Your Freedom, Thank a veteran for it, like I'm wearing my hat today. I appreciate that RTC provides the our Washoe Senior Ride Lift, taxi, and Uber voucher programs with its $60 worth of free rides each month for residents age 60 and over, veterans, and RTC Access clients of any age. I have found that the RTC Flex Ride curb at Lincoln and Harbor Coast serving the Sparks Marina is physically brutal on me in the afternoons, as many times I feared I would pass out from the heat there while I was waiting for RTC Flex Ride to pick me up. I would like RTC to have a solar-powered shade structure there with a motion detector activated air conditioner on a 30-minute timer. And I sent in my previous email to everybody links to existing structures that are already out there. Since I'm unable to drive due to my military service-connected disabilities, I'm dependent upon public transportation for the disabled. I've regularly used RTC Access for almost 20 years and RTC Flex Ride for almost 7 years. I can only name a handful of problems I've had with them. I commend Petra Fava, who's here with us today, with RTC Access, RTC Flex Ride, and the vast majority of the RTC Access Flex Ride schedulers, dispatchers, and drivers. The few times I've had issues, Petra Fava has quickly, efficiently, pleasantly, graciously, and effectively solved them. And believe me, we've had a almost 20-year relationship between the two of us now. Ms. Fava has always been open to my feedback and suggestions. The vast majority of the RTC Access Flex Ride schedulers, dispatch, and drivers have all consistently, adequately done their jobs
You can wrap it up.
with me, oftentimes go over and beyond to help me. Shout out to Ben and dispatch, shout out to drivers Dolores, Nancy, Robert, Ramon, Kathy, shout out to scheduler Michelle. Whatever you're doing, keep it up, because from my opinion, you're doing a damn good job.
Thank you, Ms. Baker, and we appreciate your comments about the shade structure and about the Think a Vet program. We will see what we can do on that. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Austin Osborne.
Good morning, Board. My name is Austin Osborne. I'm the County Manager for Story County. And I just want to make sure I had an opportunity today with the way the agenda is set up. We might have to depart, but just to express Story County's gratitude for the relationship that's building between the RTC, Washoe County, the cities of Reno and Sparks. I'm actually quite grateful to be here at this time of our history to be part of this. We're building some great relationships, and your director sitting up there, Bill Thomas, and his team are a huge part of that. Really appreciate it. I do want to express Story County's support for the rail study that you have and our participation in that. And just we look forward to the next steps and what might result of that. I do want to highlight just a couple things that we're working on in the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Center and I-80 corridor. One of them is our board recently gave direction to staff to build a contract with Tesla that's working with NDOT to extend the Patrick Interchange about 2,000 feet. It's a $4 million project that Tesla will put together through a private-public partnership with NDOT, and then the bill will go to Story County, and Story County is budgeted to pay for that. We will continue to do things like that to help resolve issues on the I-80 corridor, including some other interesting ideas that are being explored for alternative routes that we hope might happen. So we're also conducting a comprehensive traffic study at Tri-Center. Tesla is as well, and we're going to kind of dovetail that data together. That should help give us some planning opportunity for the future. And then we're continuing to permit extended stay hotels that are housing workers out at the industrial park for extended stay periods. So really excited there. So great portfolio we're all building together, and hopefully these all things come on board, and look forward to our ongoing relationship. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership as well and for your board's cooperation with RTC. We are really thrilled to have a partnership with Story County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Dora Martinez and Juan Martinez.
Which way? Is it going?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Martinez. I am a RTC Access writer, and I want to talk about today how Access drivers are leaving clients stranded. On Friday, March 13th, it happened to me. I was left behind at Parkway Athletic Club on East Lincoln because I did not have a ticket or a paper ticket or e-ticket. I asked the driver for a voucher. He said no. I also asked the driver if I can just pay for my e-ticket when I get home on my wife's phone because she wasn't with me at the time. I only have a flip phone and they know that. He said no. So they left me stranded. I just don't understand how they can leave a disabled person or elderly folks like that. So I'm requesting that RTC Access makes a rule not to leave disabled elderly folks stranded. I also want to talk about the RTC ride, the big bus, how passengers get on board, or when the bus driver is late picking up passengers, they ask the passengers just get on board, no charge. So when a RTC Access bus driver is late picking up and dropping off clients, that should be no charge as well. We have Access clients who are paying for a ride that they never got to on time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Dora Martinez. We were on the bus for an hour, so we kind of got in late. I want to thank you for all that you guys do. What James Gee does. I email him about something, and Ed Lawson in Sparks, and it get done. Like the pole that was in the tactile at the roundabout in Sparks by Legend, it got moved. People almost tripped on it. Somebody, I guess, ran it over, and there was like a sign pole, and it fell off. And some of the audible pedestrian signal lights wasn't working. And City of Reno, thank you to Khalil Wilson, kudos to him and the Public Works, Devin Reese, Mayor Shibi, they get it done. So I admire and congrats all of those things. I can't legally drive. I do drive, but not legally. And I'm just kidding. But I really want to. Anyways, I do a lot of walking with my husband and my dog. My dog can only do so much. He doesn't read, so we sometimes get lost. And when I press the button with the audible pedestrian light, it tells me what street I'm like. Oh, okay, cool. This is where I am. And sometimes my phone, I'm on it, make sure I know where I'm at, and it runs out of batteries. So I don't really rely on my phone anyways. I just want to talk about the Move More with RTC survey, and I think it's in the agenda 6.1 or 2 or something like that. So we had I think it's Alex, that came to the Reno Advisory Board meeting where I'm a member of the Accessibility Board, and they're going to charge more for RTC Access riders. And I am asking you that there were only 61 people who took the survey. And I don't know if those people that took the survey are eligible to ride the ride. I mean, I'm not sure, eligible to ride the RTC Access. But I talk to my peers who are disabled and who uses the RTC because sometimes they cannot walk to the bus to use the big bus. And they need the door-to-door service. That if you guys could, and we are begging, to please maybe give us a year for them to adjust their finance to pay the $4 per ride. it's a lot on people with disability who are on fixed income. And I don't know if you know, but the Big Beautiful Bill now is affecting the seniors who are also utilizing the taxi box and the RTC access. They're getting $16 a month for their SNAP. So a lot of that money is going to go to food because they cannot afford food now, that they're getting $16 or $26 because of the Big Beautiful Bill. So we ask that please give us a year. Let me talk to my disabled people who are using those services to adjust and adjust their finance so they can afford, because access is our livelihood.
Yes,
It
thank
takes
you.
us from A to B. And I cannot always count on my daughter to, can you come and get me? She goes to you and I was like, Mom, I have a life. Okay,
Sure.
fine. And so please, we are asking you. And also,
You.
just for on record, just one more minute,
Yes.
please. You guys are gonna, it was suggested to mix people with disability with the general population. And I understood why I think it's Alex Adams, sorry if I'm mistaking your name, sir, that said that because of timing, that we're going to mix people with disability only on weekend for piloting to use the flex ride. Safety is a concern. And I only ask that if you guys are going to do that, that the driver, when they pick up a person with a disability like myself, will let me know that this is a flex bus and there's general population in the bus. You're not with your peers. We need to know that
Okay.
because some people try to feed my dog when I was riding the big bus. That's why I don't use it as much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
for
Thank you both.
hearing us.
And we'll have a good discussion on that.
Next up is Donna Klontz.
Good morning, Chair and RTC Board. I'm Donna Klontz. I am a volunteer with AARP Nevada and also an advisor with the Washoe County Senior Board. I had a couple of things that I wanted to say today, and it's great to hear from the community. I really echo and support all the things you just heard from the two folks that are dealing with disabilities and how the system works for them. And I hope that those things they talked about can be fixed. Our seniors, a lot of them are in a position where they are losing the opportunity to drive and really are starting to try to use the RTC system. And the FlexRide system is the one that really is the savior for a lot of them. Once those taxi bucks or RTC or Lyft, there are some other programs that have some Lyft support as well, but transportation is the key to getting to having a decent life. And a lot of our folks are not quite near enough to where our routes are right now. And so the FlexRide idea is the one that I know is the way of the future to fix that. And so we're in full support of that. I was hoping to see my group from Sun Valley come today, but didn't see them again today. And we're working with some of them on the Route 5 and how that they can use that easier. They may be coming in to ask you about FlexRide there too, though, so I just wanted to let you know. Also, I wanted to thank RTC for Stuff-A-Bus, which is today at the Target store in Sparks. This is every year's event, an annual event where the community can help seniors by donating things that low-income seniors might need to fill up an RTC bus that's there in front of Target today from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So we have filled it up for the last few years. All of the items go to Washoe County Senior Services and are distributed throughout the year to seniors who are in need and might need that help. And also, I sent you all I gave you all a copy of our May list of just Northern Nevada AARP volunteer-led events here in the north. We don't have an RTC event on here, and I'm hoping to work with Julia on creating something that would be a monthly kind of learning session that we could help RTC advertise to our seniors in the community to, again, get them to learn how to use that system when they need it. So thanks again for your support. Appreciate being here today.
Thank you.
No further public comment.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move to the approval of the agenda, and I have to catch a flight for my cousin's high school graduation. So I am asking the board if we could please move up 6-3. After we do consent, I'd like to take a little break so we could do a quick picture in front of that incredible bus out there. And then Vice Chair Reese is going to take over the meeting after that and go through 6-2, or excuse me, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So if that was clear as mud, I am looking for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Reese. Looking for a second. Second. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. All right, that passes unanimously. All right, on consent, any board members have questions or comments on our consent? Not seeing any. I'm looking for a motion. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Lawson. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. We'll now move to 6-3. And I know with consent that we are moving forward with a recruitment for a new executive director for RTC. This is an end of an era. Mr. Thomas has given us his 6 months notice to enjoy his life with his family. And I can't believe this. I'm getting a little emotional. I have worked with Mr. Thomas for nearly a decade, and the amount of respect and dedication that he has given to this community is pretty incredible. And I've learned so much from Mr. Thomas as a planner at the city of Reno, and doing economic development with him at the city of Reno, and now at RTC. And he has done so much for this organization to move major projects forward fearlessly and to be a leader in this state, not just this region, for transportation. And I wanted to make sure that I discussed how important his work has been to our community and how much we're going to miss him, and his commitment to work with this board and really make sure that the board's vision for transportation becomes a reality has been incredible. I just want to talk about the new multimodal projects like our neighborhood network plans that you have really courageously taken on to make sure that our communities can be connected, whether they walk or ride, and making sure that our kids are safe in their neighborhoods. And your innovative approaches to our transportation systems, like the Kids Ride Free collaboration with the Washoe County School District, which was a lift, and something that this board wanted to see. And we know that there's so many other achievements, including taking on roles that honestly the state should be helping to lead on. And, you know, the work that you've done to pull together Story County and the rest of Northern Nevada to tackle our transportation issues on I-80 has been extraordinary. And so in recognition of your performance, I would like to request that we amend the executive director's contract to reflect an 8%, a 8% bonus instead of 5% that's in your contract. Since you are not asking for additional pay for the last 6 months of your work with us, which we're going to get every ounce of work we can out of you in that 6 months. And this would be a one-time payment to Mr. Thomas, and would be about $23,500. And so I wanted to open it up to the board, and also just, again, thank you for your service to this community. And even though you are retiring, I am still going to have you on speed dial, Mr. Thomas. We're going to still need your help to do these major projects in our community. So I'll start with Mayor Lawson if you want to start.
Well, I'd like to table this item until November. I'm just kidding. No, Bill, you've done a great job. We're going to miss you. And I'm all in favor of your bonus.
Thank you so much. And Vice Chair Reese.
Thank you so much. Of course, and I absolutely am in favor of your idea about amending the contract for the bonus. I'll sort of reserve my comments for Mr. Thomas till another time because I assume we'll have another time where we can honor him. And yes, it is going to be a tremendous loss. I will say this, when Mr. Thomas came over from the city to RTC, I was not a happy boy because I was losing him at the city, and he was the first person to take me on a ride along across our fair city. And I think that day and the conversations we had have really shaped my time in office. And many of the ideas that we talked about on that first day have come to pass, both at the city and at RTC. And the unique thing I think about you, Bill, is that you have been able to see a much larger vision. Sometimes as electeds, I think we have very specific and short and narrow visions on certain things. And it takes someone who's been in this work a lot longer to have a larger vision for it, which goes across place and time. It transcends the election, vagaries and candidates and electeds, because it really is about understanding the place where we live. And so I'm grateful that you're here with us for several more months. We will certainly honor you more specifically later, but I am forever grateful for your leadership here at RTC and the work you've done here. And no, you're not going anywhere. Yes, you get to spend more time with your beautiful family, but there's lots still to do and ways, I think, that you'll be contributing beyond the day-to-day operational work of this particular agency.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reese. Commissioner Garcia.
Yes, I'll miss sitting next to you. Your replacement must be as cool as you are. That's the only request I have. But no, it's been a true pleasure working with you. I've said it many times before, and I think one of the beautiful things that you have demonstrated throughout your tenure is your ability to connect with the constituent. I've seen you communicate and get down to that ground level and really understand sometimes the heartache or the stress that is involved with some of these serious discussions. And I've also seen you in DC, sitting across from congressional delegates and navigating very complex political environments. And so I think that it's a beautiful balance that you've brought to this position, and it's an art form. And so your predecessor, you're leaving very big shoes to fill, and I'm going to soak up every month that I have left with you, and your mentorship means a lot to me. So very supportive of the 8% bonus, and happy to support you along the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Thomas, I'm not sure if you have any thoughts you want to share before I make this motion.
Well, first of all, I'm very humbled. I can tell you I've done what I have done and what I will do based on passion for the work. But the thing that I think the public needs to understand, everybody needs to understand, is success in a public organization starts with the elected officials. And I've been very blessed to have the 5 of you that put aside some of the divisive things that happen in your world to split you apart. And for you, when we get to those tough decisions, you've all come at it from the same perspective, which is what's the right thing for the region and the community. And so I applaud you and I thank you. And I know the public, our staff, people don't often know what it takes to do that. So I thank each and every one of you. It's been a pleasure to work here. And I cannot pass up the opportunity to say that I've also been blessed to have an amazing group of employees that they come to work with passion. They love to be public servants, and everything we accomplish at RTC starts with your vision, working with me, but ultimately it's the employees that make it happen. And they're the ones that really should get the accolade. So thank you very much for all you've said and the opportunity you gave me to do this job. So thank you again.
Thank you. And yes, Vice Chair Reese, as Mayor Lawson and Commissioner Garcia, this is not the last time that we'll be able to recognize your work. And I really look forward to celebrating your career of public service to this community, because As Vice Chair Reese said, the work that you did at the city of Reno and the vision that you had there, we wouldn't have the new police station without really you helping to lead on that before you left the city of Reno. I mean, just project after project, have your fingerprints all over it. And so with that, looking forward to having that conversation.
One quick,
Yes.
I was just thinking of sitting here, Bill, and we go all the way back to the early 2000s that we worked together in the private sector. So it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Either you're getting old or I am, one of the two.
Just wise, actually. Both of you are not getting any older. You're just quite wise. So, based on your performance this year, I would make a motion that the board approve a performance bonus for the executive director in the amount of 8% of your current base salary, and that the executive director's contract be amended to reflect that.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Reese. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And that passes unanimously. We'll take a quick break for a photo with this incredible bus, and then we'll come back and Vice Chair Reese will be leading the meeting. Thanks so much.
To the fiscal year 2025, or FFY, sorry, 2025-2029 Regional Transportation Improvement Program. Hello.
Good morning, members of the board. Graham Dollarhide, Transportation Planning Manager with RTC for the record. As mentioned, I'll be presenting on the proposed amendment number 3 to the federal fiscal year 2025 to 2029 Regional Transportation Improvement Program, or RTIP. So just some quick background on the purpose and process of the RTIP. It is a document that represents a prioritized program of scheduled and fiscally constrained transportation improvement projects that are based on the long-range plan, known as the Regional Transportation Plan, or RTP, that are designed to achieve the area's goals and objectives that are established in that RTP. The RTIP includes all federally funded or regionally significant transportation projects, regardless of funding source, and carried out by any agency within the Metropolitan Planning Organization boundary. This graphic, just at a high level, represents kind of the project life cycle from origin in the RTP, or even prior to that in planning corridor studies and area studies that flow into the RTP, where projects are fiscally constrained, and then the top priority projects then flow from that long-range plan into the short-range programming in the RTIP. Before projects can then move on into those agreement and implementation phases, projects must be listed in the RTIP. And part of the purpose of today's amendment is to get some congruency between the programmed amounts, scopes, and timing of projects with the obligation details. So some final details about this proposed amendment. It is, again, the third amendment to the FFY 2025 to 2029 RTIP, which was adopted in August of 2025. This particular amendment is necessary to add, remove, and update projects. In this case, no air quality conformity analysis is required, as the projects are either exempt from those requirements or do not change the capacity that has or was not already modeled. Similarly, there is no corresponding amendment to the RTP. It's not required according to federal guidance and according to criteria established in the RTC's public participation plan. So jumping into the details of the projects as part of this proposed amendment, the Traffic Calming Improvements Project is a Washoe County-led project that would simply move the timing back to be in line with when the agreement was executed. The agreement between NDOT and Washoe County was just recently executed and is ready to move forward. This project would implement RRFBs and other safety measures in school zones around the region. The FlexRide service project is an RTC-led project that would increase the total project funding and would provide for additional years of funding to continue the FlexRide program in all of the FlexRide areas. The Access Capital Sutro project is another RTC-led project that would increase the total project funding to provide for electrical improvements at the Sutro facility, as well as improvements to the hydrogen service bay and fueling system, and to replace an existing generator and add another new one. The I-80 Washoe westbound Patrick Waltham Way project is an NDOT-led project that would be removed from the RTIP. As we heard earlier from Mr. Osborne, this project will be carried out by Tesla with private funding via Story County. So this project is being removed from the RTIP as it will no longer have federal funding attached to it and is not considered regionally significant, as it is a relatively minor improvement to the merge lane there at the interchange. The I-80 Verdi Commercial Vehicle Inspection Station Upgrades project is another NDOT-led project. This one is new to the RTIP. This would allow for the vehicle inspection station to be upgraded, and those upgrades include a new modular building with workspace and tools and tech for law enforcement, as well as modern scales and an advanced notification weigh-in-motion detection sites that would allow advanced warning or notification for law enforcement of potential issues. The State Route 446 Washoe County Pyramid Lake Realignment Project is another NDOT-led project, again new to the RTIP. This would realign a 2-mile segment of State Route 446 on the west side of Pyramid Lake to avoid some erosion that is occurring there on the slope and a portion of the shoulder of the roadway. So it would just realign that roadway a little further up the slope and away from the lake. Finally, the Fueling Facility Improvements Project is an RTC-led project. This is a new project to the RTIP that would provide for improvements to fueling facilities, in this case, the CNG trees. Finally, this proposed amendment, it does require RTC board approval, as well as approvals at the state and federal levels before becoming live and active. A public comment period was held between April 22nd and May 12th. No public comments were received during that time. However, it was advertised through various media outlets, including RTC's website and a Spanish language newspaper. It was also presented to the RTC's advisory committees, and those comments can be found in the agenda packet, but ultimately was recommended for approval. And then as mentioned, this is a public hearing, so providing a final opportunity for comment. So with that, I'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dollarhide. Let me say thank you for the presentation. I'm going to chat with my colleagues first and see if they have any questions before I ask some. Mr. Mayor, Ms. Garcia. Fairly straightforward, Mr. Dollarhide. What I do want to say is thank you to our friends at NDOT. Obviously, a lot of these are programs that are being worked on by them, and so I'm very grateful for that. The other thing is I wanted to ask just a little bit about the new project upgrade for fueling facility improvements. So tell me, what is that? Or just maybe just a little bit more information.
Sure, yeah. So this would, as mentioned, upgrade the fueling facilities that RTC has. In this case, it is the CNG trees, so the fueling for CNG vehicles. But it would be also, this would become an ongoing project where over the years, when additional upgrades are required to the various fueling facilities, we could increase the funding for this project.
Well, I suppose what I wanted to really ask about, this is largely for our RTC access, but this is not regarding hydrogen fuel cell buses, right? This is not that. Okay.
Correct.
I just want to make sure, because of course we are still working on what we have there, Mr. Gee, correct? And do we have anything with our hydrogen fuel buses? Where are we at?
Yeah, so the hydrogen fueling facility, the equipment is installed. We're waiting on the provider to come out and commission it. It does include a power upgrade, which is part of the TIP amendment that hopefully you approve. But commissioning is currently scheduled for September.
Okay, I think that we'll have a conversation about that another time, but thank you for the presentation. Mr. Spear, this is a public hearing. May I ask, Madam Clerk, was there any public comment on this item? Any correspondence received?
No public comment or correspondence.
Thank you so much. So we've opened the public hearing. Mr. Spear, is there anything else required of us legally than that, other than when we close it?
Not if anyone doesn't have anything to add from
I
the
don't-
public.
Yeah, it does not appear that we do, and I think my colleagues and I have had an opportunity to hear. The action is just acceptance of this amendment.
It is, Vice Chair Reese.
Thank you so much. Ms. Garcia?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 3 as outlined in the staff report.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Dollarhide. Okay, we'll move on to the items identified under the 6 caption. So the first one is 6.1, which is approval of the fiscal year 2026-2030 Move More with RTC plan. Mr. Cruz, thank you. Welcome and good morning.
Thank you. Welcome. Good morning. My name is Alex Cruz, Senior Transit Planner with RTC, and I'm here to provide an update on the Move More with RTC Transit Plan. So what is the Move More with RTC Transit Plan? It's basically just an update to our TOPS process plan, which is basically our short-range transit plan. It essentially guides the next 5 years of the public transportation services for RTC. It also informs that regional transportation plan. And this time around, what's different from our previous TOPS plan is that we focus a little bit more on access in our senior mobility programs. So the last time around, it was kind of ride focused. This time we really paid attention to all of it. So where we're at with the plan in the schedule right now is first we started out with phase 1, which was in early 2025. We did a service review of all of our different public transportation services. We also went out and got community feedback. So that's where we did our first survey for public transportation. And we held a couple public meetings. We took all that feedback, all that information from the service review, and we rolled that into phase 2, which is where we created some draft recommendations for the services, and then we held a couple more public meetings. We opened up a second survey to get feedback on those draft recommendations, and now we're at phase 3. So we took those draft recommendations, took the feedback, and rolled it into our final recommendations that we're presenting to the board. So a little bit about what we heard. We had that second round survey on the draft recommendations. It was open from February 16th to March 29th of 2026. We did get 219 survey responses. 131, so the large majority of them were on RTC Ride. And then we had 61 on Access, 70 on the senior mobility, and about 67 on our different fares. And from that, what we saw is basically Route 4 was the only route that had over 50% negative sentiment. So the large majority of them were positive. We did have some feedback to clarify a little bit more on Access curb to curb versus door to door. And then we also had some more feedback on clarifying that cashless fare needs time. So if we are going to move forward with cashless fare, just to make sure that we're taking our time with that step. So jumping into the recommendations, a little bit of an overview. What we heard is later and more frequent early evening service. So that between 6 to 9 p.m., just having more trips on the fixed route. And same thing for the weekends, later and more frequent weekend service. So just we saw that there was a lot more trips happening on Saturday and Sunday. So just more ride services available as well. That draft, the Route 4 recommendation, which was basically to remove the trips that happen after 10 p.m. due to low ridership, was removed due to that negative feedback. No changes to, there were some changes to the route alignments to improve ridership, but no changes to the regional connector or the Rapid Virginia line. And we have some expanded senior mobility services, some changes to access service policies, and fare system recommendations. So jumping into the ride route recommendations, for the most part, I'm only going to discuss the routes that have alignment changes. Most routes will have frequency changes, so increase of trips and removal of trips, but those will be found kind of in the full plan. So first up is Route 2. Route 2 is just a small minor change. Basically, we're just going to go extend the route to go around the Sparks Senior Center. Right now, we pass close by, which requires seniors to walk about half a block. So this should change that. They'll get dropped off right in front. It should only change the route by maybe a couple minutes. And then we'll evaluate whether we want to keep this alignment or adjust it for the weekends when the senior center is closed. But we can do that after about a year or so. Route 11, this recommendation slightly changed from the last time that we presented on it on the draft recommendations. It is going to continue down Prater to Marina Gateway, take a right on Marina Gateway, and then loop around Legends. And that adjustment was made due to some recommendations from the TAC presentation. Route 12 has a couple changes. The first one being going to the backside of the GSR. That's just necessitated by the new arena that's being built there. They're working on we're gonna set up a bus stop on the backside of the building. We're already detouring that way anyway, so it won't be too big of a change. And then we're also gonna get off of East 2nd and move onto Mill. So we'll be passing in front of the renowned hospital right there. That section of route that we're getting off of is still covered by Route 18, so it's not losing all the bus coverage. It's just going to be served by Route 18 instead of 12 and 18. And then moving to Route 21, the Sparks Marina. What we're going to do is we're adjusting the route to cover Reed High School. So another thing that came out of those that initial service review is that there was a lot more transit need in the Reed High School area. FlexRide had a lot of rides going to either Reed or to that grocery store right across the street. So this will kind of provide a fixed route option for that area. What we're going to do is we would cut off the end where we go to Northern Nevada Medical Center and go down Vista, loop around Sorensen Way, so right in front of Reed High School and the grocery store, and come right back down. Also pass in front of the middle school right there on Vista as well. Northern Nevada Medical Center will still be served by FlexRide. It just won't be served by a fixed route, which currently it gets about 3 to 4 riders a day. So not a huge popular stop. And probably the biggest change is going to be to Route 6 and 16. Basically, these two routes would be combined into one new route. We would take the most popular stops on both of those routes and turn them into one. What we heard out of that initial feedback is we had some students that were having difficulty getting to Reno High School. They lived in the southwest side of Reno. We have to take Route 6 down to the 4th Street Station, transfer from there onto Route 16 to get to school. This gives them a one-seat option to basically get to school on one ride. And then moving on to Route 54, another change. We would get off of McCarran and loop down to the new hospital down there, so the Northern Nevada Medical Center, and then cross the street over and pass in front of the VA offices. It would then continue on the regular route, and then rather than going through the corporate boulevard area, it would switch over to Edison. That corporate area had at most 4 riders a day. So hopefully by switching over to Edison and passing in front of that TMCC campus, Washoe County School District administration buildings, we should be able to hopefully pick up a couple more riders. Jumping over to the other service recommendations, Access and FlexRide. The big change would be that allowing default curb-to-curb service on Access. Door-to-door is still available for everyone who needs it. So for new riders, curb-to-curb would be the default. If a person needs door-to-door, they'd still be able to sign up right then and there. And as Access riders renew their service, they would either get defaulted into curb-to-curb, or if they still require that door-to-door, we just sign them up for that as well. Couple KPI changes. So the on-time performance standard would be switched to 90%. Trips arriving 10 minutes before or 20 minutes after the scheduled pickup time. Call hold time standard would change to 2.5 minutes. And then switching over to FlexRide, we would increase the standard wait time from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And that's just to align a little bit more with our fixed route service. So a lot of our headways on fixed route are 30 minutes during the majority of the day. So this just kind of keeps in line with that wait time there. And a big change for FlexRide would be allowing advanced reservations. Right now, FlexRide only does same-day reservations. So allowing advanced reservations up to 3 days should help with people who want to ride FlexRide. And then we could also do standing ride requests for work and school trips. So those two types of trips are a big thing for the FlexRide. So allowing those standard requests allows people to save a little bit of time, don't have to call every morning to sign up for their ride. And then another big one is that pilot of commingling Access and FlexRide services on the weekends. For that pilot, we would start with the curb-to-curb rides first. That kind of helps keep that driver inside the bus for those rides. A big thing about that pilot is, we are trying to be a bit more efficient with both of those services. Access being one of our most expensive services to operate. We currently do about 2.5 rides per service hour on Access and about 7 rides per service hour on FlexRide. So hopefully by combining those on the weekends, we're able to be a bit more efficient with that service. Jumping over to the senior mobility programs, they would all be combined into one program called Connect Ride. That Connect Ride could be operated with one debit card, where we would be able to put all those funds, the $60 voucher, onto one card, and people can use that to pay for their taxi service, the Uber and Lyft, and then FlexRide and ride services. So right now, rather than having to sign up for each program individually, it would all be signed up under one. Eligibility would continue to be the same. It'd still be seniors, RTC Access customers, and veterans with ID. But we are proposing an increase on the senior age to 65 plus for new users. So if someone is 60 and they're already signed up, they would continue to keep the program. But going forward, we would switch to 65 plus. And we would also offer a reservation phone number for users that don't have a smartphone. So they're just able to call and book their ride, and then implement a 25% copay for people whose household income is above 200% of the federal poverty level. So currently that poverty level is $15,650 for an individual. So if someone made $31,300 a year, then they would have that $15 copay. Jumping over to the fare technology, we would like to implement fare capping on our token transit for the 1-day, 7-day, and 31-day fares. So what that means is if someone pays $2 on token transit for a one-way ride, and then they went to pay $2 for the return trip, token transit would automatically cap them at $1 because that would be the 1-day pass fare of $3. So basically kind of keeps, the system kind of keeps track and lets you only pay basically the cheapest fare that we have available for them. We'd also add payment by credit and debit card on board ride, FlexRide, and Access, and just kind of continue to move towards cashless onboard fare collection. Included in that, we would add cash loading for Token Transit app. So you'd be able to put $20 onto your Token Transit app at one of our stations or a retail location, and then use that to pay for the bus. As well, we would implement an online reduced fare application to kind of help with some of those reduced fares where people have to take time to come in and fill out that application rather than just be able to do that online. Again, all this would be evaluated. So as we are going through these changes, we would take our time to make sure that they're working and people are switching over to those cashless fares before we actually ever move to cash free completely. So some of those fare changes, Ride, we would phase out that onboard day pass sales and implement that that fare capping. The regional connector, we would switch to same fare as Ride. So right now the regional connector is $5. It would be $2 for everyone. We'd start with that as a pilot as soon as possible. We would also switch FlexRide. We'd add a $1 additional fare for additional passengers. So if you're signing up for FlexRide, maybe two people work together and live near each other. Rather than each one of them individually requesting a ride, they'd be able to request it on one and just add that additional passenger for only $1 more. And then with that fare increase for access, we would increase that to $4. But along with that, we would change that to allowing access riders to ride free on Ride or FlexRide with their ID. Again, we're talking about how expensive access is. Right now, it costs about $40 per ride. So trying to encourage those access rides to, if possible, to ride on Ride or FlexRide would be a big savings for us. Another thing to know is right now, the FTA does allow the access fare, paratransit fare, to be 2 times the fixed route fare. So right now we're below that. It's been $3 for a few years. And that was kind of supplemented with COVID funds and things like that. So this is just increased to kind of put us in line with what other agencies are doing, which is that 2 times the fixed route fare. And it was brought up to give some time as far as the access in the fare increase. As proposed in the plan, it wouldn't be until year 2 of the plan, so that gives us about a year to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. And then again, when it comes to fare increases and things like that, we do have to do a Title VI analysis, all that stuff. So we would still come back to the board and present that in year 2 of the plan. So what are the next steps? Should the board pass the plan, we would move to that 5-year implementation plan. We would do those smaller changes, the administrative changes, like the KPI changes, pretty early on. But those larger changes, like the service changes and fare changes, would probably be starting year 2. Year 3, I think, is the biggest one with the biggest changes. And that just gives us time to, again, evaluate the cost, especially with diesel the way it is, and give us a chance to do our due diligence before we bring those big service changes to the board and present them. With that, I'm available to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. I'm going to start with Mr. Mayor, if you have any comments.
Yeah, when we go into year 2 and we're doing these fare increases, can we have you come back and tell us what we're doing? And because I'll tell you, after 3 years, I'm not going to remember all of this.
Yeah, so with any fare change, it's considered a significant change, so we'd present that to the board.
Okay, I just want to make sure to address Ms. Dora's concerns with that population.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a similar question. So when I first saw this, I thought the change would happen immediately. So you're saying, based on your comments, it wouldn't be implemented until a year from now. So we're looking at May of 2027. Is that correct?
We wouldn't have an exact date. The plan is, for the most part, just a suggestion, but it is suggested in year 2. So we do our service changes 3 times a year, January, May, and September. So it could fall into any one of those. Most likely, May or September would probably be the best bet for when we present that.
Of 2027?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, that kind of clears up. I was going to recommend that we postpone the fair for a year to give our constituents, given the economic hardship that many folks are experiencing, and being sensitive to the rising costs that we're experiencing across the board and all of the amenities we need. I was going to highly support that. So since it's already baked into the process, I will go ahead and just reiterate, the fact that RTC Access is really expensive to operate. We know that. It's a very valued service, so we want to keep it going. So we've got to eventually make changes and modifications so that we can sustain these really important services. So it gives folks a year to really, for us to help encourage folks to really consider using those alternatives like Ride and FlexRide. So, but yeah, I like that it gives a little bit of time, so that makes me feel better. And then the other quick question, How common is it for transportation agencies to phase out completely all cash and passes? Is that pretty common throughout the United States?
It's a little hard to say. I think it's a lot more popular right now. It's just because so many agencies are switching to being able to pay with tap to pay and things like that. So it's becoming a lot more common, but it's not. There's not a lot of public information about it right now.
Okay.
If I can maybe just add a little bit to that too, that isn't obvious in many cases, is the fare exchange with cash is also a point of conflict sometimes between passengers and drivers and can lead to bad outcomes. So kind of the hidden benefit behind that is it avoids that confrontation where a person tries to get on without paying or doesn't have enough money. So that's one of the beauties of going to cashless. But we understand it'll be a challenge for some people, and that's why we're slow walking it.
Okay. Thank you. Those are the questions I had.
Thank you so much. I don't have any additional questions. I'll just look for a motion. Mr. Mayor, thank you. I have a motion from Mr. Mayor,
I'll second.
second from Ms. Garcia. I know, it's crazy. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much, Mr. Cruz. Excellent presentation. Item 6.2 is our receipt of the 2025 annual report, which is informational only.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So each year we do this report where we can share with the board and the public the accomplishments of the RTC team over the past year. And so we want to give you, each of you has a copy, and these are publicly available, the annual report, but we have a video that we're going to share with you that I want to acknowledge Nicole Coots. Where are you, Nicole? When you see this video, which is a great piece of work, I just wanted to acknowledge that she's the one to put it together. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and play the video.
Wow, very exciting. Thank you so much for the video presentation. It's pretty crazy if you look at it because, first of all, I think what I've learned in the 8 years I've been in government is we have done a lot, taken a lot of votes, but you forget all of it. And then you get to see a report like this. I don't know, I think that must be something, as the mayor said, about getting older, but there's so much work going on all the time. And I am very grateful to the RTC team. Obviously, a lot of the focus here is on some of the construction projects, but just top to bottom, everybody in the organization really deserves all the credit for this. As electeds, we certainly get to set some policy direction, take some votes, but the actual work is being done by your staff. And so it's very incredible. And so if all of our staff who are here today would just stand up, we'd love to give you a round of applause. Everybody who's staff, all the RTC team. Pretty incredible what you've accomplished in the last year. I don't know, there's a couple of pages in here that are just blow my mind that we're working on it. So it's great. Thank you so much for all that. Let me see, Ms. Garcia, if you have anything that you'd like to add.
I just echo your sentiments across the board. Just so many successes, so many things to celebrate. The increase in ridership, it just continues to blow me away. So that's a testament to the increased access that we provided and the education that we've gotten out through our social media efforts and just the communication to the public. So just tremendous work. Very proud to be part of this organization.
Mr. Mayor.
I think for me, the best moment is the partnership with Washoe County School District. I used to take my funds and give bus passes to Sparks High School. And that program, I think, pays off, especially for a school like Sparks, where a lot of those kids are working and they got to get to their job right after school. So good job on the whole team here, because we're making a difference. Thank you.
Excellent comments all. Let me also say just a couple of things in closing. First, I want to say a very public and personal thank you to you, Mr. Keller, for your leadership. Sometimes it's very easy because I can pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, I've got this problem or this intersection, or I've got a constituent who's riding the bus. And I'm very grateful that you take my calls, which sometimes come with some frequency. I don't always want to call Bill because Bill's got other things he's doing, but he'll take my call too. But you've been just great to work with. And I'll also say that it's part and parcel of you working with Carrie Koski, who is our city engineer. And I know that she's also retiring here very shortly. And it's going to be a tremendous loss for the city. But the relationship that you and she have has allowed us to navigate the complexities of these projects very quickly. I'll give one example. Back in February, just before Billinghurst and Westergaard had gone on their spring break, we had a young person who was hit in a crosswalk because the way that the roadway is set up there, the sun comes at a certain hour over the ridge, and that happens with some frequency in the fall and in the spring when we go through those periods of time. And within the 2-week period of time that we had our students out on spring break, your teams were able to come up with an immediate transformative fix for that area, which involved some recurbing, painting, some bollards, flashing signs. And, you know, it meant all the difference to that community. The safe routes to school is very important. And we do look very granularly at intersection by intersection sometimes, but we can't be everywhere all the time. And so when constituents come to us with issues, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to take those issues to heart. But that's just one very specific example of where I called just kind of in a panic, hey, we got to do something. And it was done very quickly. And so I'm very grateful, Mr. Keller, for your answering the call. It is an important part of this job that we are able to communicate with our community. You know, they have a joke that our state flower is really the traffic cone. And that's what the book sort of shows, right? But those traffic cones represent jobs in our community. They represent planning and the process. And ultimately, they represent the potential for our area to grow reasonably and responsibly. So you've been very gracious to me with your time. Thank you so much. I think this is just informational. So, Mr. Spear, we don't have to accept it.
Vice Chair Reese, there's no action on this item.
Thank you so much. We'll close this item out then and move on now to item 7, which are informational reports. We'll start here with you, Mr. Thomas, on item 7.1.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I wanted to start my comments today by just reminding the board that we have a special meeting next Monday at 9 a.m. There will be a virtual call, which is to approve our fiscal year 26-27 budget. We do that virtually because it's we're limited by in the process by state law, so that forces us to have the meeting that way. In the presentation you just saw on the annual report, there were many awards that were given, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of them for awareness to the public and to the board, but also just to acknowledge the staff that made these awards successful. Many of these are actually national awards, which in my mind reflects even better on the quality of the work that the employees do. So the first one I want to talk about is the Veterans Roundabout modifications, which is a project that we did working very closely with NDOT. And it won the ITE, Institute of Traffic Engineers, Mountain District 2026 Transportation Achievement Award in the safety category and the project of the year from the American Society of Civil Engineers and the Truckee Meadows branch. So actually two different groups acknowledged the value of that project and the work of the team that pulled it off. And I wanted to say specifically thank you to Jessica. I don't know if she's here today. Jessica Dover, who is the project manager for RTC, Kimley Horn Associates, and Q&D Construction, again, along with the help and assistance of NDOT, for completing a very critical and important project that I believe, from the feedback I'm getting, the public sincerely appreciates. In addition, our fiber network prioritization plan won the Institute of Traffic Engineers Mountain District Transportation Award in the planning category. So acknowledgement of the great work of Alex Wolfson and Kimley Horn for leading a project that was transformative and one that obviously was acknowledged by our peers. And then lastly, in terms of the awards, I wanted to specifically pull out and acknowledge the Steamboat Parkway Improvement Project and the new website. So first with the project, it was another example of a highly desired, very impactful road that needed attention, and our team was able to pull it off effectively and efficiently. And actually, I think we went through a couple different project managers pulling that project off. So really proud of the fact that we were able to hand that project between managers and to be so successful. And then the thing about the website I want to acknowledge, and this is Nicole still here? There she is in the back, quietly sitting in her office doing it. She led this website update. And the thing I would share with the board, if you haven't really looked at it, is not only is the quality amazing, but we also made it ADA compliant. And perhaps most importantly, we really started when we updated the website is what do the users want? So the website now starts with the greatest demand we get from the public, which is about our transit and bus system. So that's how you enter the page, and then you move on to things that are critical to people who use RTC. So just sharing with you my pride with those particular awards that we run. Moving on June 1st, we are going to start, and this was mentioned in Alex's presentation, we're going to start with the fare change to the regional connector. And the intent here really is to hopefully increase ridership, which we think it will, by correcting what has been historically a confusing fare system for the riders. So it'll make it much more simpler. You won't have two fares, you'll have a single rider fare, and we believe, like I said, it will end up with a more efficient system and one that the riders will appreciate. And then I have on my notes, but you already did, the America 250 bus, which all of you saw earlier. Very proud of that. Nancy Muse, I don't know if Nancy's still here. She's the designer of that project, and very amazing with the outcome. And I know, talking to all of you, you were all quite impressed, and I think the public will be as they see this bus moving about to celebrate our country's 250th birthday. We have another special project coming up here in June, on June 8th at 11 a.m. We're going to have the ribbon cutting to the Arlington Avenue bridges. And that project, I know we've talked a lot about to you all. I'm particularly proud about the fact that we took a project that is very complex because people don't realize it's not a single bridge. It's actually two bridges, so really two projects. And when we started into it, there was a lot of concern from the city of Reno, rightfully so, about closing down on one of the most important parks in downtown Reno. So we challenged our team with getting it done in a single season, and very proud to say that we're going to accomplish that in and out of the river in one season. And a project that'll be open to the public before summer, so that a lot of the events that happen downtown will be able to continue with a brand new bridge. So looking forward, and I'm sure all of you, if you can make it, will be there to that grand celebration. We're having a celebration with the city of Reno, also NDOT, U.S. Department of Transportation, and our federal delegation. Very much a community-wide benefit and a community-wide project. The Federal Highway Administration launched a new program called Freedom to Drive. And this program is being driven by the United States Secretary of Transportation. It's a national effort to save Americans time and money by focusing on maximizing roadway capacities, fast-tracking projects to reduce congestion at choke points, and leveraging technology and private sector partnerships. We at RTC, along with Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and Story County, sent letters to the governor and to Tracy at NDOT, as requested by the Secretary of Transportation, pointing out that we feel the Northeast Connector project is the one that the community really needs to have some attention drawn to it. So,
Good job, Bill.
yeah. So, what's going to come of it, we don't know yet, but we do think that a single focus from our community up here, particularly with all the players who have signed those letters of support, is going to get the attention of not only the governor, which I know he's aware of the issue on I-80, but also nationally. So I'm very thankful for the board members who participated in that, and hopefully more to come soon.
Is it not the only program for the state of Nevada? Vegas
That
didn't have
is
any.
my belief, but we
Yeah.
will find out.
I don't believe
know if
Vegas had
Sajid
any.
knows, but
Yeah. But yeah, it's a big deal.
very big. Another community event that we're doing that I wanted to share with the board is, and I think Donna mentioned this, is we have a Stuff a Bus for Seniors donation going on today. It'll be between 2 and 6 this afternoon, and the bus will be at Sparks, working with Keolis, and thank you, Keolis, for helping us at the Sparks Target. And we're asking for household items, hygiene products, and clothing, and all that people donate will, of course, go to those seniors in our community who are in need of help and support. I want to now recognize a couple of staff members. Leanne Olivas, is Leanne here? She isn't. She's probably busy working. She celebrated her 25th year, the silver anniversary on March 19th. Leanne has been a key employee in our organization. She served as agency services supervisor, HR analyst, and now is on the executive team as a management analyst. And I can just share with the board that she's one of those people that helps us be successful, like you saw in the annual report, but you won't often see. There's really no task that she won't take on. And she approaches everything she does as a challenge, both with passion and resolve. And she's one of those people that you don't have to say twice that you need something done. She's on it. So I wanted to thank her and acknowledge her contributions for 25 years to RTC. In addition, Scott Gibson, I don't see Scott here, has achieved his 20 years, he has achieved it on May 8th. Scott is a valued member of our engineering department and continues to work as a project manager on several key projects. I think the one he's working on right now, of particular attention, is 4th Street, the 4th Street Safety Project. So want to thank Scott for that. And then Nalia Bellin is celebrated 10 years on May 2nd. She serves as a senior accountant in our finance department and is instrumental in keeping our finances in good standing so we can do all these critical projects that benefit the community. Rick Parton, who's our financial manager, he has achieved his 1-year service with RTC as of April 7th. And I know He's an amazing guy who Christian very much relies on to manage our finance world. While he's doing that, he's actually earned himself a master's degree in accountancy and is working towards CPA license. So he contributes to us, but he's also a dedicated enough person that he's willing to spend his own personal time to advance his skill set, which I think will benefit RTC in the long run. And then last but not least, I want to acknowledge Ashley Holbert. Is Ashley here? There she is, finally. An employee's here. Ashley celebrated her 1 year on April, or will be celebrating her, no, did. I'm sorry, I get very confused when I see these dates. And I think because of our last boarding with the technical glitch, we ended up passing up some of these. So Ashley celebrated her 1 year on April 21st. She's one of our project managers and has quickly adapted and fit into the team and has been really, I know, Jeff and Amanda and Dale probably are very thankful to have her here, that she's been an amazing project manager, and we're very thankful. So thank you, Ashley, for your dedication. So with that, I will end my report.
Mr. Thomas, thank you. Any questions from the board? Mr. Thomas, thank you so much. I wonder about the employee who had the silver anniversary. Would that be an opportunity for us to just have them come to the next meeting so we can thank them? That's a
We'll do
pretty
that.
special milestone. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Okay, we'll close out item 7.1 now and move to 7.2. Mr. Nelson, welcome.
Good morning, Paul Nelson, Government Affairs Officer for RTC. I'll start off with some good news. So Senators Cortez Masto and Rosen have submitted all three of our requests for congressionally directed spending for a total of $8 million. $5 million of that is for the Regional Partnership for Local Street Rehabilitation. So that'll be divided up between Sparks, Reno, and Washoe County. And $2 million of that will go to the University Gateway Transportation Project. And $1 million is for the transit security cameras and software. So great news. There's still a lot that has to happen before we actually have that money. It has to go through the appropriations process. Hopefully they'll have this bill passed by the end of September, but as we've seen, sometimes it gets delayed a little bit. So we'll hold our breath and hopefully we'll get that funding. The House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee plans to mark up a surface transportation reauthorization bill May 20th, assuming it's not delayed. If that date does hold, the bill would reach the House floor in June at the very earliest. A group of 44 Democratic senators wrote a letter to bipartisan leadership in the House and Senate Appropriations Committees and Senate leadership in support of maintaining IIJA funding levels in the upcoming THUD bill. They say the decrease in funding would be harmful and cause substantial budget cuts to many of DOT's programs, including Safe Streets for All, the LONO program, and CIG. 3 Republican senators sent a letter to bipartisan leadership on the Senate's Environmental and Public Works and Finance committees, urging them to implement an EV fee in the upcoming reauthorization bill. Congress has been kicking this around for a while there, for probably at least around the last year, discussing whether or not they will impose an EV fee at the federal level. So we will keep an eye on this as things move forward. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Let me see if there are any questions or comments by the board. I wanted to just say thank you, Mr. Nelson. Commissioner Garcia and I had the privilege of traveling with you just a few weeks ago now to DC, along with Mr. Keller. And I just want to say that it was really one of the more amazing experiences. I've been to DC many times over the years, a couple of times with this body, certainly with my home jurisdiction. And there was just something different. First, I thought the program of activities was executed very well. APTA did a great job of their side of it. But also we were able to really have some very deep and meaningful conversations with our senators. It's not always the case because sometimes you don't get to meet with them. Our lobbyists who we work with also were very engaged and dialed in. And I felt like that was one of the times where I came back thinking, hey, we actually accomplished the task, the mission, the goal. Certainly the program of projects that you're talking about and the congressional directed spending are important. I also think it's important to talk about our issues that we've had around some of our hydrogen busing that we were able to at least get some commitments, and I'm hopeful that those will be resolved soon. But thank you for organizing it. And I know it's a lot of work. Certainly you have to put up with Commissioner Garcia and me, who tend to be a little bit, high-strung and eager.
You're looking for the word
Needy. I'm not sure that's the word I would choose, but I know why you would choose that for us. But no, I just think that it was fantastic. Hard work goes into it, and I thank you for it.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. We had a great trip, and I think that the two of you also did a great job. It was a good trip. I think it was very productive. So thank you.
Mostly we owe that to Ms. Garcia, as always. Okay, I'll close item 7.2 and come now to our NDOT friend, Mr. Soloria. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Vice Chair. Before I begin my scripted presentation, I wanted to kind of talk about this Freedom to Drive letter that we received from Secretary Duffy. And Bill, you asked that question. Yes, Department is drafting a draft letter right now. We're in the process of doing so. We appreciate the support letters from the City of Reno, Sparks, RTC, as well as Washoe County. We are, as the letter requested, to identify anywhere between 3 to 7 areas in the state. So I-80s definitely is number one on top of our list. But we are definitely identifying 3 to 4 areas that we think that they are qualifying for this opportunity to highlight for the state. Again, department has the statewide need, and we're definitely I-80s number one. We have other needs in Southern Nevada as well, and future I-11, I-15 South, and I-80 is one of them. So like I said, our state is growing. Our needs are definitely need to, and I think it's well timely to get that support letter. So we'll get that to the governor's office as soon as we can. So I just wanted to put that out there. And yes, I-80 is number one. So,
Northeast Connector.
yes, and Northeast Connector along with that. With that, we talked about our state flower being a traffic cones. So let's keep on going, right? That's what everybody loves. We are basically started a new preservation project last month. This project will be replacing 7 bridges over I-80. Even though you see on the slide there's 4 highlighted, or like 1, 2, and 3, 4, but some of them are separated, east and westbound. So they are total number 7 of those bridges will be replaced. Typically, the bridge lifespan is anywhere from 50 to 70 years, but these bridges have seen their lifespan. They are safe, they remain safe, but we want to get ahead and replace these bridges before they age. Obviously, there's a lot of other factors go into it, heavy vehicle travel, weather-related impacts to these bridges. Again, the new bridges will be constructed with enhanced seismic protection. The number of lanes will remain the same, but we will build slightly wider shoulders for safety and during incidents, emergency response on the interstate. And we will keep 2 lanes open during the construction during the daytime hours. But drivers will see overnight lane reductions, and that's how we will address our construction on those 7 bridges on I-80. So with that, more work coming our way. Next project that I want to kind of highlight, this is another safety project that we are doing, improvement project on Kitski Lane. Last month, our safety improvement project installing a pedestrian crossing beacon on Kitski Lane near Gentry Way. Over the past month, drivers have seen a reduction of lanes for utility work, relocation work there in advance of the project. In the upcoming month, Kitski Lane near Gentry will be reduced to 1 lane for each direction during the weekdays as we excavate and reconstruct the sidewalks. So again, this project is safety and is well needed. We are coordinating with City of Reno Public Works to ensure future public messaging regarding how the pedestrian signal is consistent with messaging with the city that already has put out. So again, this is the typical construction season, and it's already started, and we hope to complete this construction by the winter of this year. More work. This one is just a resurfacing projects over the bridges in our Northern Nevada area, beginning our upcoming months, our upcoming weeks. We will launch a project to resurface 10 bridges in Reno area. 4 bridges are at the Spaghetti Bowl area, and as you can see on the slide, there will be overnight lane and ramp closures will take place to do this work. We recognize this is a heavy traveled area and try to minimize the impacts to the traveling public. So again, this work is well needed to preserve these bridges. One more safety projects I want to highlight. This is South Virginia Street. We are basically looking at this as well. This came out of, it was identified in the road safety assessment for a South Virginia Street Management Plan. This is kind of looking forward in a couple, and it's just basically looking at the striping. How do we install the speed limit signs to enforce the existing posted speed? But this work will mostly be at night work, and you can see it will start this summer and anticipate also as completing in this fall as well. So well-needed safety project. It's by the In-N-Out Burger if you want to get your bearings. This is at South Virginia Street. Lastly, I think we heard enough about Waltham Way, acceleration lane on that interchange. You heard from Story County as well as RTC. This project is really a collaboration between public-private partnership here. It is fully funded by private partnership and private funding. We anticipate this project will start soon and will be constructed by this summer. And this is the interim improvements that will help as the bigger project on I-80 as we're currently in design and as it's moved forward. And this will be worth, drivers will see some relief at that intersection as well. So this is well needed work, and we're very happy to collaborate with Tesla and Story County and all the partners to get this project going. And it's a privately funded project, like I mentioned, and it will be project start this summer and we'll hopefully complete in a couple months. And lastly, I also want to take the opportunity and echo the same appreciation for Bill's leadership on his retirement. We just heard that today, his passion and vision here at RTC, and really working well with collaboration of NDOT. Your leadership will be definitely missed, and your passion towards advancing transportation in Northern Nevada definitely is appreciated. Congratulations on your retirement, Bill. We'll miss you, and these are definitely big shoes to fill, but we're congratulating you and well-deserved retirement. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Let me see if there are any questions from the board. I just have a couple of questions about the 7 Bridges Replacement Project. This is personally important to me because this is the route I take to go home every day. Let me ask first about the current construction that's gone on from Keystone to, I think McCarran is the cutoff, where it looks like in the last week or so, some lanes have opened. It looks like there are a couple more to open. What's the timing for the completion of that stretch? And I think the reason why I ask is because I think what people sometimes grow frustrated by and don't totally understand is why one project does not finish before the next project starts. And so I'm just saying, are we going to get the Keystone to McCarran piece done before you start on the next 7 bridges?
Thank you for the question, Vice Chair. As you know, we have a construction opportunities limited up in Northern Nevada, right? So this summer months are your heavy construction, but the last year or so, the winter has been very mild, and I think most of our projects in Northern Nevada made good progress. And our I-80 Keystone project is same way. We anticipate that project will be wrapping up in a couple months. And in order to start this bridge project as well, like I mentioned, the most of the work will be at nighttime. We will try to keep the lanes open during the day, 2 lanes on each, so drivers will see some impact, but we try to minimize, and we fully try to work with our contractors, but sometimes there are unforeseen conditions that limit some work, but we are confident that this Keystone project will be wrapping up soon this summer.
May I just ask, because I've had this experience twice, when it does close at night and there are some lane closures, I have found myself in the fast outermost travel lane, which then gets reduced into the slower lanes. And I don't know how to explain it other than say either I'm driving too fast for the conditions or something's going on, because I have come upon the cones, not the cones, the larger barrels much more quickly than I had anticipated. And maybe what I'm saying is, A, I'm going too fast, and so bought me on the nose for that. But also, is there a way to have lighting or maybe lights earlier in the process so that I don't get to that point and then I'm like, oh gosh. And I don't say, oh gosh, when that happens, but to get over into the right lane has been challenging. Yes, I imagine you would. It is challenge. I'm just telling you that I've had two experiences, one recently, and it just sort of took my breath away because I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't anticipate them being there because I had driven it earlier in the evening and then having to get over very quickly. Is there any way to help a driver like me?
It is, as a department, it is our utmost. We want to make sure everything is safe, what's out there. And a contractor, when they are constructing, they also want to make sure not public is safe and also their workers are safe because they're doing construction out there. So our construction zones need to have safety so everybody can go home safely. The traffic control plan is, I think it is, it should have far advanced warning what's happening during construction. But if there's a particular incident, if their cones are there or not, I can't speak for that, but that's what we emphasize that traffic control, all of that stuff, that is the contractor, we work together to make sure that happens and let public know as far as, what construction is going on, when and what time.
Well, you have my anecdotal story. Do with it what you will. Let me ask now about the Garrison Road overpass. Is there a way, and it doesn't have to be today, for me to take a conversation offline to understand this very, very specific road overpass? Because I've gotten some inquiries from constituents who live in the area about sort of the statement was you're rebuilding the bridge, but not making improvements to the on-ramps or exits. And I don't know if that's true or not. There's some capacity increases of people living in this area. Off of the Garrison Road overpass will be a new community in the Mortensen Garrison area off Quillisi Road, which is anticipated to be like, I can't remember today as I sit here, several thousand homes between different things, and it will happen over a 20-year period of time. But there is some fear that what we're doing is just like replacing like for like, and I don't know if we're taking into account the engineering that goes into increased capacity. And I'm making assumptions that they are, but I haven't been able to communicate it to my constituents.
I think the quick answer is yes. We have been coordinating and collaborating with RTC and City of Reno for that because there's obviously does have impacts to, but the bridge itself is getting widening. Obviously, there's 2 lanes there, and then also a multi-use path will be going to connectivity from the north and south side. As far as what do you do? So we definitely want, this bridge is over interstate. We don't want to come back. And so I think that's, to answer your question is, yes, we're coordinating, we're collaborating with the city and RTC. And I think I don't have the details exactly what goes on those plans, but I'm confident that that has been evaluated. And
well, let's find the space and time for you and our Director of Engineering and Mr. Keller to get together on this very specific one and maybe look at it together. I know that it is a priority for our city. I just don't know what has been communicated to you. And so now we still have a little bit of time to really think about that, and we'll do that offline.
certainly.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much for indulging me, Mr. Slattery. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll now close out the 7 items and move on to item 8. These are commissioner announcements. Any announcements from the board? Any questions or requests for topics for future agendas? Okay, I'll close out item 8 and now move to the last one, which is public comment. Ms. Kraus, is there any public comment in this item?
Yes, we have one public comment, Mr. Edward Lamb.
Great, thank you, Mr. Lamb. Welcome and good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Ed Lamb. I'm a resident of Sparks and also on the County Senior Advisory Board. My interest is serving the elderly of the county, which are approximately 20% now and growing. And I just was looking at the stats that are out there at the moment and the guesstimates that everybody has for population. And we, as a county, are about 515,000, plus or minus a couple. As of 2026, Reno is about 290, Sparks is about 115, and the unincorporated areas are about 110, I guess. And the access that is provided, bus access, FlexRide, what have you. For the areas that they're serving is wonderful, I think. However, they're not serving all the areas. I'd guess, just spitballing, the amount that Sparks has got about 35% of its area covered. Mr. Mayor, you could probably confirm that. And we have also plenty of opportunities in the North Valley and even to the south, where Reno is running out of room being Reno and going into the unincorporated areas. Given that we've had a 1% increase in population every year for at least the last 26 to be exact, and we're looking to do the same thing up and through 2040, would seem that we would need to adjust the goalposts, I guess, on where the coverage areas are. And going back to a long time ago when I was in food distribution, we acquired a company and we were doing covering about 65% of the US and 100% of Southern Canada. And we found that the companies that we acquired weren't necessarily addressing their audience properly, and they were costing their customers, the fast food industry, quite a bit of money. So we ended up having to move our distribution centers, and there were 26 of them all around the country. And every time that they kept putting in new restaurants, I'm sorry, I'm out, but if I
You're
could.
okay, if you'd like to finish your comment. just
Yes,
briefly.
please. Since we have maybe a 30% population that is not being served at the moment with regular either bus or flex or whatever, and that the stipend for the Lyft, Uber, cab, whatever, is only $60, and that's basically from, say, somewhere out near Winco on Pyramid down to even City Hall for Sparks. That pretty much wipes out the entire stipend for the month. They still can't get back home. So
Thank you so much.
if we could do something to move so that the flex ride and everything along that line was moved out a little bit, both North Valley and out Spanish Springs area.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, any additional public comment at this time or letters received? Nothing like that?
No further public comment.
Thank you so much. We'll close out item 10 and we are now adjourned.
Wait, see